Hey, what's going on? Aaron Murray here with the Players Lounge, and I got a special guest with me this afternoon. My man, one of my top receivers back in the day, Malcolm Mitchell, former NFL guy with the New England Patriots, now doing big things, and a dad. We were talking offline a little bit about potty training, for goodness sakes. Like, who would have thought the star tandem that threw the winning touchdown versus Florida back in 2012 would now be comparing war stories of dealing with kids and potty training? But that's where we are, Malcolm. We're old men now dealing with potty training. Welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with me.
Buddy, I appreciate being on here with you, man. I'm looking forward to this conversation. And yes, we now bond over potty training versus scoring touchdowns. It's nuts.
What's harder, beating press coverage or that 2 or 3 days? I guess you weren't as involved, but 2 or 3 days of getting your son
Oh,
out of the diapers in the potty
I,
training.
I'd rather do 10 training camps back to back than potty train. I'd rather do 10 training camps back to back than have a newborn again. It's like, man, you love them. I call them little steroids. They make everything good great, and they make everything bad worse. But you gotta love them. You gotta love them, man.
We're done. We had our two. I just made my appointment to go get in about 2 weeks. Like, we ain't taking chances. I'm done. No more. I got my boy, I got my girl, and my wife's like, I'm not trying to get pregnant again. So she's the lawyer. She's smarter than I am. So she did all the background research of why I should get taken care of rather than her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, Jasmine is pressing me on another. So yeah, I'm not ready.
You need to.
I'm not ready. I mean, I like one. It's fine.
They need a playmate, though. They need someone to hang out with. He's finally now starting to get used to her.
Yeah, but you have to. So we could just set up play dates, and there you go. 3.
Still need some
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see how it is to handle multiple. But I do want to go to that catch first off real quick, because people always, for me, want to talk about a few games. They want to talk about the game we lost to Alabama. They want to talk about the game versus Auburn. I'm like, damn, can we talk about an actual win? Like, I won plenty of games. We'll talk about the LSU game back in 13, but a lot of people, want to go to 2012, go to that battle versus Florida, obviously, Georgia's biggest rival. Go in your head, what was going through your head, play call, ball in your hand, and then everything else that ensued afterwards.
Well, it's a bit funny now to reflect on it, because at the time my temperament was much more chaotic. I was disruptive. I wanted every problem that anybody could present. So during that game, I was in a full-on battle with Pure Four, which was their best defender at the time. And I think from the first snap, we were jaw-jacking, throwing extra hands after the whistle blows. And a few times, John Theus had to come pull me away because I'm in his face trash talking. Well, I don't know if many people remember this, but a few plays before that touchdown, I got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that pushed us back out of field goal range. And Coach Rick pulled me off the field, and, he scolded me. But luckily, he put me back in a few plays later, and I think I had a run it route, which was an 8-yard stop route. And at the time, it was my favorite route because you can sell like you're going deep, and you just hit the brakes. And you were perfect at putting the ball on that outside shoulder. When they called the play, I was begging to the gods that you threw me the ball, because I had enough electricity in me to light up an entire city. And when you threw me that ball, I said nothing in the world is going to stop me in this moment from catching it. I am willing to do whatever it takes. And I think it was more so about, fighting that battle with my teammates than, individual glory. And after I caught the pass, all I remember is seeing Artie Lynch come across the middle of the field. I did a terrible cutback off the wrong foot back into the center of the field, split 2 defenders, and after that, we just celebrated. And it's one of the plays that I remember most, not because of me scoring the touchdown, but how hard we prepared that week, how committed we were as a team that year, And then we really needed that game to get into the SEC championship. And that was a big play. So it was kind of all that coming into one that makes it a very memorable moment for me.
And what made us so good at the run it route was we were great at the deep ball. I mean, because the run it route essentially is a glorified, it's a back shoulder fade. And I want to get into that too. But what a run route is, like Malcolm said, usually it hitches at 6 yards. Well, when you push past 6, a DB then has to make a decision like, oh, damn, I better get going because, your speed as a receiver starts to really pick up at that point. So you put the brakes on at 8. Like I said, it's almost a forced back shoulder, but we were really good at the back shoulder. I would say like we were probably the best team in the country at back shoulders. With
Aaron, I still say,
obviously TK.
Aaron, I've played with some great quarterbacks. Maybe one of the greatest of all time. I consider him the greatest of all time.
Oh, he is the greatest.
And you by far had the best back shoulder of any quarterback I played with.
I appreciate that.
This is just being real.
All right, break it down from a receiver's standpoint. What makes a good back shoulder fade from a quarterback? But then what do you need to do as a receiver to set yourself up for success to catch a back shoulder?
The back shoulder fade is all dependent on you selling the go route. So let's say I start at the line of scrimmage and my job is to go deep. Some guys wait for opportunities for the cornerback to give up space, or they look for some opportunity to change leverage. Well, my objective was always, let me get down the field as fast as I can so this guy has to turn and sprint. Because the moment he starts sprinting, well, then Aaron and I have an opportunity to throw a back shoulder fade. For me, what made the back shoulder fade a good pass is if it was put on my outside shoulder as I was still running downfield. And that's important because most people have to stop completely. But if you go back and you watch any highlight films, Aaron is putting it on our back shoulder as we're moving down the field, which is extremely hard to do. And to me, that's what always made the back shoulder from Aaron special, because it did not fully stop my momentum. I could catch the ball, still have momentum, make a move, and get upfield.
All I know is I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight, knowing that Malcolm Mitchell said that I had a better back shoulder than Tom Brady. We're definitely clipping that for socials. I mean, it's
you should.
Yeah, I may not be able to pose like Tom in my underwear. I throw a back shoulder with the best of them. What were you surprised? I want to stay on the Tom thing real quick because I mean you had to play with him. I've talked to David Andrews a bunch about him too, but what made him so unique? Because dude, he's playing at 45 and I still think he is one of the better arms in the NFL. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
How eye-opening was it to see how disciplined he was?
And then you hit the nail on the head. I've never met anyone more disciplined than he is as a competitor. Most people play the game. He lived it. And he gave it everything he got every single day. When people were looking for opportunities to take time off, he was looking for opportunities to get better, whether it was developing mental toughness, whether it was enhancing his routine, every aspect of his career. Even when I got there after he had won 4 Super Bowls, he was still looking for ways to improve. I remember him sitting down in the locker room before our football games, watching other quarterbacks. He was watching things that they did exceptionally well that he could add to his game to take him to the next level when he was already the best. I mean, it's just that level of commitment, that level of humility, that level of dedication you usually don't see consistently over 20 plus years. And I think that's what separated him from anybody I've ever encountered. It's every day, all day, I am aiming to be my best, whether I am sitting in bed, whether I am eating, whether I am on vacation. He traveled with a pillow to ensure he got the best sleep possible. I'm telling you, it's like everything.
It's crazy. The eating, the sleeping, the training. I mean, it's just it's next level. But I'm telling you, like when you see him play, there's no doubt in my mind. Like he could play. He physically could play a couple more. Like if he wanted to tomorrow, come out of retirement and play for the Dolphins, I think he could. There's no doubt that, and he would still be a top 15 quarterback.
Aaron, I think it was more mental than physical in this scenario. And I think at some point when the game starts taking more than it gives, you have to think about it. And for most people, it's their physical ability that begins to decline before their mental state of mind or their mentality. And in this scenario, I think it was the opposite. I think the game started to take so much away from his mental stability for whatever reason that you have to make that choice. And I think that's what makes it so different than anybody else who's ever retired, because most people retire when they physically can't go. Yeah. Well, that's not what he did, I think. I don't really know.
No, I'm with you. I mean, there was a couple of moments last year where he kind of shied away from contact. You're like, was he hurting a little bit where he's trying to take some of the pain off from some of those hits? He's 45. He's played for, man, he was playing. He's been playing longer than some of these guys were even born. He was playing like his first five years in the league. It's crazy. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Tom Brady stays retired or if he decides to.
I hope sneak his
way back. I think he needs to, though.
I don't know. I hope he stays retired. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. It's give and take, and only he knows, right? And that it's give and take. Yeah. It gives you a lot, and it gives you a platform where we can have conversations like we're having in this very moment. But boy, oh boy, how many birthdays did you miss?
Mm-hmm.
How many holidays did you not spend with your family? But I
think what people need to understand too, Michael, was like they're like, oh, he's been, like I said, he's been in the league forever, and there's guys that weren't even born when he started playing in the NFL. He's playing against those guys, but he's only 40, 44, 45. So on there, like he's not physically as a human being, really. He has half his life to live.
Exactly.
So I think it's always the hard part for athletes of, this is who I am. This is my identity. This is what I enjoy doing. And if I could physically do it, why would I stop? Why stop? This is the thing you love doing more than anything else. If you love reading books, why would I tell you at age 45 that you have to stop reading books or writing books or whatever it is? Like, no, like mentally and physically can do something, and I love doing it. By all means, keep freaking playing. Do your thing.
I agree.
And so
I agree, unless it starts taking more than it gives.
Oh yes.
And only the person in the scenario can make that decision, right? I think that's
say this. Like it's a grind. It's a grind, because I've talked about like being a coach. It's a complete grind. But I would say for a player, even with how dedicated he was, you still get 5 months off the year. You still get Monday, Tuesday in season. You're at home. You should be at home eating dinner if you wanted to with the kids that night. Like there, it's not 365 where you're gone. It's not like being a college football coach. It's not being like an NFL coach. Like you get some pretty good chunks of time.
I agree. I will agree with that. It's not 24/7, 365. No. That's not. But I remember when I had to make the decision whether I keep trying to play or would I stop. It kind of came down to, how did I value this thing that had given me so much over time? I would have loved to play until I was 45. I wasn't. That wasn't the purpose for my life. But I remember my decision came down to, can I continue to withstand the challenges that this is placing on me physically and mentally, right? And then from there, you kind of make the call and you live with whatever choice you make. But I can guarantee you, for anybody who makes that choice, it is not easy. Most people retire from something when they're 65, 70 years old after they've worked, 40 plus years in a career. Well, as athletes, even at Tom Brady's 45 years old, that's still pretty young to be retiring from a profession. And don't get me wrong, athletics, it's entertainment, but it's a profession as well.
Oh, it is. I want to change it up a little bit real quick and get the spring ball. Georgia spring ball starts tomorrow. We're filming this on the 13th. Give me your favorite spring ball memory.
My favorite spring ball Aaron, I didn't participate much in spring ball. I was either hurt or pretending to be. My favorite spring ball memory, you know what? I have a favorite. I don't know if it was spring or training camp. It was when Ben Jones and I got into that little altercation. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. You almost
Oh
gave him a heart
man.
attack, didn't you? Is
Well,
that when you almost gave him a heart attack?
well, God was on my side because he was about to pummel me, but
Yeah.
I think he caught a full body cramp right as he was about to take a swing or grab me or something like that. I mean, you talk about divine intervention. Now, for those who don't know, when I first got to Georgia,
You really have changed. I will tell you that. Like
yeah,
you were hot headed like no other back in the day. Like to get Ben Jones pissed off you like that.
yeah, I was I don't know, man. That's just the nature of the beast. I kind of enjoyed the conflict. I enjoyed competing, and I enjoyed, you know, controversy. And I think when I first got to Georgia, I mean, those are some of the memories that I have the most fun reflecting on, because it was a completely different way of thinking than I think today. Right? I was combative. I was looking for any reason to be disruptive, but I also competed and played really hard and practiced my tail off to try to be my absolute best. My favorite spring ball memory may be when I decided to play both ways. And in spring ball, I had to at times go play defense and then at times go play offense. And it was a real challenge. I'm not even sure I did it successfully, to be honest with you. But it was fun just having that challenge to try to kind of accomplish that many people don't get a chance to do.
Did you play DB in high school, or was that like
I
the first?
did.
Like me, just
I
okay.
played
So you had some
safety.
skills.
Yeah, I played safety my junior year, which got me all the offers. And then the
Sound
next
like
year
me.
I played wide receiver, and then all the people who offered me to play DB switched it to me playing offense. And that's how I landed on playing receiver.
What do you think you were going to be? What do you think you would have been better at if you stuck with DB? Would you have ended up playing better at that? Because you're one of the best in Georgia history. Would you have been a better DB?
Oh man. If I played safety, I would have still been playing football today.
Ooh.
But I wouldn't change it because my mom really enjoyed watching me catch the ball. And that's why I decided to stick with receiver, because it brought so much enjoyment to me and my family. So I wouldn't change it. I have no regrets. I don't look back on it and say I wish I would have done something differently. I love playing wide receiver. I love the experiences, but I probably would have still been playing if I played safety.
All right. Last one before I let you go. So Georgia's getting ready for the three-peat. You
Yes.
were you were with New England during their heyday. Like New England was what everyone was chasing. They're the ones with the big
Right.
bulls out on their back. Georgia's the one with the big bulls out on their back. How do you, obviously as a franchise, how did New England handle that pressure day in and day out of knowing you're going to get everyone's best? Everyone's trying to take you out. The media's trying to take you out. The other team's trying to take you out. How do you focus in on your task at hand in order to continue to win and have success?
Every day that we walked in the building, there was this sign that was put on the door that the players entered. And on the sign, there was the 4 keys to success while you're in the building. And as you exit, it was the 4 keys to success while you're outside of the building. The 4 keys to success when you walked in the building were: put the team first, be attentive, do your job. Obviously, that's the most popular one, and ignore the noise. If you can do those 4 things, you can maintain the winning culture. You have to put the team first. You have to pay attention. You have to do your job, and you got to ignore the noise. If you're listening to what the media or any individual says about your performance, well, now you're trapped in someone else's perception of what they don't even fully understand. I think Georgia has an opportunity to create a dynasty if they can keep the culture the way it is at this very moment. In order to do that, you have to have an exceptional leader, which Coach Smart is. But then you also have to have some players who commit to, those principles. And putting the team first is always priority number one. No single individual ever has won a football game.
100%. So it makes it the best team game out there. It takes 11 guys every single play, both sides. So, hey, you knew it. You played it. I'm not lying. I'm still giddy over here that you said I had better back shoulder fade than Tom Brady. I'm about to go jump upstairs to my wife, tell her, and we may be having baby number 3 tonight. Malcolm Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, Appreciate you taking some time, and good luck with everything. And yeah, more potty training stories ahead of us. That's
I
all I know
appreciate
now.
you, buddy. Love what you're doing, and keep going.